What's up, everyone? It's Jasmine. On today's episode of the Slain Project, I'm going to be going over the cases of 5 missing and murdered Native American men from the United States. And even though this video features 5 different people, it is very short. As we all know, information on missing and murdered Indigenous people is hard to come by, and the men seem to be worse than the women. Now, if you would like to see more videos on missing and murdered Indigenous people, click that subscribe button and the notification bell. Now let's get right into it. Odell Vest was 21 years old when he went missing from Towaoc, Colorado, and is described as being 5'11" and 245 pounds. He was last known to be at a house party on Lafayette Street the night of Saturday, July 10, 2000. He was never seen again after that party and is presumed to have been murdered. The FBI is offering a $10,000 reward for the arrest and conviction for the people responsible for his death. His mother, Avery Whiteskunk, stated that Odell never left his home for long periods of time and did not have a driver's license when he went missing. Willa also has a brother who went missing named Avery Whiteskunk, who was 41 years old. He was last seen by family on Friday, January 30th, 2004 in Towaoc, and a missing persons report was filed the next day. His body was found on March 19th, 2004 in a ditch north of Sleepin' Ute Mountain. He was a victim of homicide, and a family member was quoted as saying he had been shot above the neck with a shotgun and a portion of his head was missing. The FBI also has a $10,000 reward for the arrest and conviction for the person responsible for Avery's murder. It never has been stated if authorities think their cases are related. The family is from the Ute Mountain Reservation in the southwest corner of Colorado, near the Four Corners area. The area is very remote and isolated, and there are many places to hide a body. Colorado just passed Senate Bill 150, which will form an office to investigate MMIP cases. It will join 15 other states who have formed their own task forces to combat the MMIP epidemic. Sylvester Lopez was 13 years old when he went missing on Wednesday, February 21st, 1989. At the time, he was living in a foster home in Eureka, California, and was reported as a runaway from this home. It is believed he was trying to get back to his family home in Hoopa on the Hoopa Valley Reservation in Humboldt County, California. The Humboldt County Sheriff's Office learned that he may have been living with friends in the Hoopa and Whitespec areas, but were unable to locate him. Partial skeletal remains were found in the Trinity River near Hoopa in September 1989. They were believed to be from a female, and the cause of death could not be determined. This case also grew cold with no leads or identification. A routine review of unidentified and missing person cases by then Deputy County Coroner Ariel Grunthal around 2008 pieced together these two mysteries. She thought that the remains identified as female could possibly belong to Sylvester. Upon review, she was able to conclude that the skeleton was indeed a male. She stated that technology and less knowledge of human anatomy led to the misidentification back in 1989. By this time, Sylvester's mom was very sick and was on kidney dialysis. She was unable to travel to submit a DNA sample for some time, so the Siskiyou County Sheriff's Office assisted and was able to get a sample from her in 2008. The DNA from the bones and Sylvester's mom was sent to a lab in Richmond. It was concluded in 2012 that they were a reasonable match. He was finally identified after 23 years. The mystery of where Sylvester was and the unidentified bones was solved. Work on cold cases is a very slow-paced task for police agencies. Many lack the resources and manpower to review the old files. And this is most likely the reason why there was so much time between the DNA collection and the positive match. Sylvester's family was notified about the identification, but unfortunately, his mother died only 2 days after she gave the DNA sample back in 2008. It is unknown how Sylvester died or how he ended up in the Trinity River. But seeing as he was last heard from in February, I do not see him taking a swim by himself in the river. Ira Kennedy Yallup Sr. is a Yakima tribal member who went missing from the Dells, Oregon on May 20th, 2010. The clothing he was wearing at the time is unknown, and he is described as being 47 years old, 5 feet 5 inches tall, and about 110 pounds. The Yakima Nation, along with the Umatilla, Warm Springs, and Nez Perce tribes, have historical fishing rights along the Columbia River because the construction of the Dells Dam destroyed their traditional fishing grounds. The BIA owns 5 parcels of land that these tribes are now allowed to fish at. Ira was last seen fishing at one of these sites called Lone Pine when he disappeared that day in May 2010 and has never been seen or heard from since. Justin Dickinson Sr. is a Menominee tribal member and has been missing since February 11, 2022. He is 36 years old, 5 feet 7 inches tall, and approximately 160 pounds. He also has a scar near his right eye and a tattoo on his left hand of the initials JD. He was last known to be in Shawano County, and there was an unconfirmed sighting of him at a quick trip in a town near the reservation called Bondul, and he was last known to be driving a newer model maroon Jeep. His family said that he was homeless for several months before he disappeared and may not be in the correct mind state. Justin was also a father who loved his children very much. His Facebook page is full of pictures of him and his kids. When Justin first went missing, his family tried desperately to get the local media to feature him on the news and on social media. When the Shawano Police Department finally posted about his disappearance to Facebook on May 18, 2022, his family members commented and said that when they asked local media to bring awareness to him, they were simply told that they would, quote unquote, will consider it. The next day after Shawano PD posted, WBA-TV2 finally put out a press release about Justin. It should not be this hard to get the media to bring awareness to missing people, but it happens all the time to people of all nationalities. And this is why it is so important for content makers of podcasts, YouTube channels, TikTok, and social media pages who post information on missing and murdered people to exist. But the reporting must be accurate. These platforms allow these cases to get out there in front of the public's eye. But it is not the same reach that news media could get. The most recent search for Justin was on June 3, 2022, near Kashina at Max Martin and Box Elder Roads. Volunteers were asked to be prepared to walk through the forest. I do not believe anything was found on this search. I have not read that anything was. It is unlike Justin to go this long without contacting his family, and they are very concerned for his safety. Please contact the number on the flyer if you have any information about Justin's movements around the time he disappeared or know of his whereabouts. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have any information about any of these cases, please do not be afraid to speak out. And if you knew any of these victims, please share any memories of them down below. And I hope to see you in the next video.